Hi, I'm Bailey Bennett Andrade, DEI Media Marketer. In the following presentation, you will hear from mother and daughter duo Cynthia and Kira Ju as they discuss two out of the four barriers to cultural proficiency: recognizing systemic oppression and recognizing one's sense of privilege and entitlement. Make sure to go and check out the other video on barriers so you can learn about the other two as well.
Hello, my name is Kira Ju. I am currently a senior in my undergraduate degree for a bachelor's in global studies and a minor in sociology. I'm looking to pursue a career as a speech language pathologist.
Hi, I'm Dr. Cynthia Ju. I teach in the Graduate School of Education at California Lutheran University. I've been working in the field of cultural proficiency for over 20 years. We're going to talk about the barriers. When we talk about the barriers in cultural proficiency, we often refer to the barriers as the core values. They really serve to marginalize students and their communities, and they can be due to the racial or ethnic or gender, sexual orientation, social class, faith cultures. For example, when people refer to the barriers, they actually say that these student cultures can be deemed as deficits to be fixed. One of the barriers that I'm going to talk about is when people fail to recognize the systemic oppression. So this barrier, this systemic oppression, which people have defined as voicing ill-informed impressions about parents or students from the non-dominant groups. Since my interest is the interest of special education, the example that I'm going to give involves my two daughters. So one of my daughters you've already met is Kira, and my other daughter is Jordan. So Kira, from the beginning of her academic career, has really been targeted as gifted and talented. Recently, she completed her GREs and did well. And so, as a proud parent, I posted it on Facebook. I received a lot of positive comments, from good job to one comment that came back, of course she did. So let's look at that. Let's unpack that. What does that response say? It says to her and to me, really, your effort really doesn't mean anything. Of course, you're going to do well, whether you put a ton of effort into it or you don't put any effort into it at all. If you do poorly, it's really a reflection of who you are. It's really a subtle response to, quote unquote, an Asian student, which reflects a stereotype that's reinforced by success. The second example includes my other kid, Jordan, who is academically diverse. She has been in special education from the beginning of her academic career. Recently, she had prepared a 45-minute PowerPoint presentation of learning from her junior year of high school to be presented through Zoom because, of course, of the pandemic. I had another conference scheduled at that time, and my daughter Kira agreed to film it for me during the presentation. One of her teachers, whom had been working with Jordan for a long time, said, "What a fantastic presentation, and I am sure that your sister helped you." Jordan said, "I did it all by myself." And of course, her teacher said, "Of course you did, but I'm sure that your sister helped you." And Kira said, "She did it all by herself." Let's unpack that last comment. What does that say to Jordan? Well, it says to her, of course you did a good job, but look at all those people that have had to help you. We didn't say that to Kira. We didn't say that you got your success and look at all those people that have helped you get there. That's a very subtle example of the systems of oppression that keep our kids doing exactly the same kinds of things.
I think on the other end of that spectrum, there is a lack of recognition for one's sense of privilege and entitlement. So there are many people, especially in the academic setting, who have benefited and created this system that really allows them to exclude looking at their sense of entitlement. And what I've noticed as a university student has been many students on campus deciding to have a walkout where they walk out of class and they talk about racial inequity on campus. And the professors and staff will not argue this. They all agree that racial inequity is a problem. However, they also penalize the students for missing their class. And by doing that, they're saying, you can go to this, this is important, but you're going to have to make up what you missed. This class is going to continue without you. And in a way, it's also saying this racial inequality is going to continue no matter what. And this class is more important than that as of right now. And we will continue no matter what's happening with your racial inequality, your inequality for your sexual orientation, gender, etc. And what they're doing is they're failing to understand that by making these decisions, they're minimalizing the experiences of marginalized students and replacing the fight for their treatment in exchange for course material. And what this does is this is not only destructive to student-staff relationships, but it sends a message to students that higher education will operate without problems, even if there is discrimination occurring. And this carries on to their entire experience in the educational system, all the way K through 12 and into higher ed. And it impacts their sense of worth as academic achievers.
These are only two of the barriers, the recognizing systemic oppression and recognizing one's sense of privilege and entitlement. Thank you very much.